Have you ever smiled on the outside, but on the inside, your mind was running a marathon?
Every story's got a spark, and every spark's got a name. This is the journey of finding mine. Who am I when the lights go low? Who am I when the world says no? Searching through my past, trying to free my soul, one truth at a time, letting every story unfold.
Have you ever smiled on the outside, but on the inside, your mind was running a marathon? Your body is sitting still, but your thoughts are all over the place. Welcome back to 10 Minutes to Refocus. This is the space to pause, breathe, reset, and realign in the middle of everything life has thrown your way. This is your reminder that just because life feels loud, that doesn't mean you have to stay overwhelmed. Just because your thoughts are racing, that doesn't mean you're falling apart. And just because stress has been heavy lately, that doesn't mean you've lost your strength. Sometimes you don't need a long speech. Sometimes you just need a moment to breathe, a moment to come back to yourself, a moment to remember that you are not your anxiety and you are definitely not your stress. So, wherever you are right now, driving, working, sitting in your room, taking a walk, or just trying to hold it all together, I want you to know this. You made it here, and that matters. But before we go any further, let me ask you something. How are you really? And I'm not looking for the answer you give to people when you don't feel like explaining. Not the quick, I'm good, you give out of habit. I mean, really. How has your mind been feeling? How has your heart been carrying all of this? How much pressure have you been holding that nobody knows about? Because sometimes anxiety doesn't look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like overthinking everything. Sometimes it looks like being irritated over the small things. Sometimes it even looks like being tired all the time, but still not being able to rest. Sometimes it looks like staring at your phone, your work, your responsibilities, your future, and feeling frozen. And stress, oh my God, let's talk about stress. Stress has a way of pulling up quietly. One responsibility, one disappointment, one deadline, one bill, one hard conversation, one more thing for you to carry. And before you know it, your mind feels crowded and your spirit feels tired. So take this moment right here as your emotional check-in. No pretending, no performance, no pressure to have it all figured out. Just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Maybe today you feel drained. Maybe today you feel overwhelmed. Maybe today you feel like you've been strong for far too long. Maybe today your mind is pulling you in 10 directions at once. But wherever you are emotionally, hear me clearly. You are not weak because you feel stressed. You are not broken because you feel anxious. You know what you are, my friend? You are human. And humans need space to breathe to. So take a breath. And let's talk about it. Not in a clinical way, not in a cold textbook way, but in a real way. Because if we're honest, a lot of us are not just busy, we're burdened. A lot of us are not just tired, we're mentally overloaded. And when anxiety and stress go unmanaged, they start speaking for us. They start shaping how we think, how we respond, how we sleep, how we lead, how we love, and how we show up in the world. So, for the next few minutes, let's refocus on how to manage anxiety and stress in a way that is real, practical, and compassionate. So, what we have to do is name what you're carrying. And see, this is one of the hardest things about anxiety and stress is that sometimes it all blends together. You just know you feel off. You know you feel heavy. You know you feel restless. You know you feel tense, irritated, and mentally exhausted. But healing starts when you stop saying something is wrong with me and start asking, what exactly am I carrying right now? Am I carrying pressure? Is it fear? Is it uncertainty? Is it even grief, disappointment, or is it exhaustion? Is it the need to control everything because life feels unpredictable? Because when everything is unnamed, it feels bigger than it is. But when you name it, you take away some of its power. Sometimes your stress is not about everything. Sometimes it's about one thing you haven't faced yet. Sometimes your anxiety is not random. Sometimes it's connected to a fear you haven't slowed down enough to identify. So start there. Start there, not with judgment, but with honesty. Say it plainly. I've been carrying too much. I've been worried about things I can't control. I've been trying to be okay for everybody else. I've been mentally exhausted. I've been afraid of what's next. See, there is something powerful about finally telling the truth, not to everyone else, but to yourself. Another thing you have to do, you have to stop trying to solve tomorrow from today. This is a big one. See, anxiety loves the future. It lives in the what if. What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough? What if it gets worse? What if I can't handle it? And stress keeps adding fuel to that fire by reminding you of everything that still needs your attention. But one of the healthiest things you can do is remind yourself, I do not have to carry tomorrow all at once. See, that right there is where a lot of people get overwhelmed. They are living in today, but mentally trying to survive next week, next month, and next year at the same time. No wonder your mind is so tired and your body is exhausted and drained. See, you were not built to process your whole future in one sitting. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is say, what do I need for this moment? Not the next 10 problems, not every possible outcome, not every worst case scenario, just this moment. What do I need right now? Do I need a breath right now? Do I need to pause right now? Do I need a glass of water, a walk? Do I need prayer, silence, or maybe even rest right now? Some of you may even need a hard reset from social media. Some of you may need a real conversation, a moment alone. See, managing anxiety and stress often begins by shrinking the moment back down to size. See, another thing is this, your body needs calming too. See, a lot of people try to fight anxiety only in their mind, but your body is involved too. See, when stress has been sitting on you for too long, your body starts responding. Your shoulders tighten, your jaw clenches, your breathing gets shallow, your stomach feels off, Your sleep gets disrupted. You feel like you're always on. So, one of the best things you can do is physically tell your body you are safe enough to slow down. Take a deep breath in and just hold it. And then let it go slowly. Again, a deep breath in, hold it, and release it slowly. Sometimes that sounds simple, but simple doesn't mean small. Sometimes your nervous system needs what your pride keeps trying to skip. Slow breathing, stretching, stepping outside, sitting in silence for 5 minutes, turning down the noise, getting out of survival mode long enough to hear yourself think. You don't always need to push harder. Sometimes you need to come down. And I think that's important, especially for people who are used to functioning under pressure. Just because you can keep going doesn't mean you should never pause. So let's talk about the psychology of what anxiety and stress are doing in the mind. And I believe that this is important to understand because sometimes people feel anxiety and stress and immediately think, what is wrong with me? But a lot of times, what you're feeling is your mind and body trying to protect you, even if it's doing it in an unhealthy way. Psychologically, stress is your response to pressure. It happens when your mind recognizes that something feels demanding, heavy, or overwhelming. That pressure could come from work, relationships, money, uncertainty, grief, deadlines, or just carrying too much for far too long. Anxiety is a little different. See, anxiety often shows up when your mind starts trying to predict danger before it happens. It starts scanning ahead, it starts looking for problems, it starts preparing for worst case scenarios. So even when you're sitting still, your mind can feel like it's in motion, racing, rehearsing, overthinking, and bracing for impact. So, in other words, stress is often tied to what is happening, while anxiety is often tied to what might happen. And the reason it feels so strong is because your brain is wired to protect you. See, it's wired to protect you when it senses a threat, real or imagined. It can send your body into alert mode. That is why your heart races, your breathing changes, your muscles tighten, and your thoughts speed up. See, your brain is basically saying something's wrong. Get ready, brace for impact. And see, the problem is this: sometimes your brain reacts to everyday pressure like it's an emergency. So when you understand the psychology of it, you stop making everything personal. You stop saying, I'm weak, and you start realizing my system has been overloaded. My mind is trying to protect me, but it needs help calming down. And that's why slowing down matters. That's why breathing matters. That's why rest matters. That's why challenging, fearful thoughts matter because you're not just being dramatic. You may be dealing with a mind that has been in protection mode for far too long. So, when we talk about managing anxiety and stress, we're not just talking about thinking positive. We're talking about helping your mind and body come out of constant survival mode and reminding yourself that not every pressure is an emergency. Also, not every thought deserves your agreement. Let's talk about this because I also believe that this one right here is important as well. Because stress and anxiety can make every thought feel urgent, every fear feels true, every worry feels prophetic, Every negative possibility feels like it's already on the way. But just because a thought showed up doesn't mean it deserves a seat at the table. Some thoughts needs to be challenged. Some thoughts need to be slowed down. Some thoughts need to be answered with truth. So whenever your mind starts racing, ask, is this true or is this fear talking? And then ask yourself, is this happening right now or am I imagining everything that could happen? Is this a fact or is this exhaustion? See, all of those questions matter because anxiety will have you reacting to things that haven't happened. Stress will have you feeling guilty for needing rest. And fear will have you treating uncertainty like a guarantee of disaster. So, not every thought deserves your agreement. Some thoughts need a response like, I'm not going to assume the worst. I'm not going to let fear narrate this moment for me. I may not know everything, but I can handle this one step at a time. I don't have to panic to prove that this matters. See, this is not denial. That is mental stewardship. You also have to give yourself permission to reset. Some of us only feel worthy when we're productive, only feel valuable when we were helping everybody else, only feeling safe when everything is under control. But hear me, rest is not a reward for burnout. You do not have to collapse before you give yourself permission to reset. That reset may look different for different people. For somebody, it may mean putting the phone down earlier tonight. For somebody else, it may mean saying no to something that is draining you. For somebody else, it may mean finally admitting, I need support. For somebody else, it may mean praying honestly instead of pretending to be strong. See, a reset is not quitting. A reset is wisdom. A reset says, I want to show up whole, not just available. A reset says, I matter too. A reset says, I refuse to keep pouring from a place that is already dry. I like that. Let me say that again. A reset says, I refuse to keep pouring from a place that is already dry. And sometimes 5 intentional minutes can change the whole direction of your day. So let me ask you, what has been stressing you out the most lately? What are you carrying that you haven't named yet? What thoughts have you been believing that needs to be challenged? And what would it look like to give yourself permission to breathe again? Take a second and really sit with that because awareness is the beginning of change. You cannot heal what you keep rushing past. You cannot manage what you won't acknowledge. And you cannot refocus if you never pause. So here's where I want you to reframe for today. Feeling anxious does not mean you're failing. Feeling stressed does not mean you are incapable. It means something in you is asking or maybe even demanding for care. Maybe your mind has been overworked. Maybe your heart has been carrying too much. Maybe your life has been moving too fast for your soul. But instead of condemning yourself for feeling overwhelmed, what if you responded with compassion? What if you stopped talking to yourself like an enemy? What if you stopped making your struggles mean you're weak? You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to breathe. Matter of fact, just take a breath. You are allowed to tend to yourself too. So here's what I want you to remember this week. You do not have to carry everything at once. You do not have to believe every fearful thought. You do not have to keep running on empty just because you've gotten good at surviving. Take a breath. Take a moment to pause. Take the moment. Take your mind back. Take your peace back. Take your focus back. This week, don't just push through it, but check in. Check in. Let me say that again. This week, don't just push through it. Check in. Don't just perform, but breathe. Don't just survive, reset, because your peace matters, your mind matters, and you matters. And I just want to encourage you today that you are not your anxiety. You are not your stress. You do not have to carry everything on you at once. You can give yourself permission to breathe, reset, and refocus. And even in this moment, in this very moment, you are still growing and you are worthy of peace. So before we move forward, I want you to pause for just a moment. Take a breath. Wherever you are, whatever you're carrying, this next part is for you. Let's speak life over ourselves out loud if we can. Because what we say in this moment has the power to shift how we walk into the rest of our day. Let's begin with our affirmation. I am not defined by my past or limited by my mistake. I am growing, learning, and becoming who I was created to be. I have values beyond titles, roles, and expectations. I choose honesty over fear and growth over comfort. I am allowed to change, heal, and evolve. I walk with purpose, clarity, and courage. I am becoming more aligned with my true self every day. And who I am is enough. So as we close today's episode, I want to thank you for taking this time for yourself. If something you heard inspired you, challenged you, or made you pause and reflect, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who may need it. Invite them into the conversation. See, this podcast grows when we grow together. I cannot do this without you. See, we grow together through shared stories, honest reflections, and real connections. Every listen, every share, every conversation helps create a community rooted in purpose, rooted in love, rooted in hope, rooted in faith, rooted in trust and truth. So until next time, keep reflecting, keep becoming, and remember, you matter. This is the Who Am I podcast with your 10 minutes to refocus, and let's walk this journey together.
Who am I? Yeah, I'm more than the pain, more than the pride. Who am I? Who am I? Walking in purpose, no mask, no disguise. This is my voice, my rise, my life. Welcome to who am I?